I'm Executive Chef Joseph Schutze. Welcome to our kitchen. Today I'd like to share with you my technique for breaking down round fish. Round fish is a type of fish that swims vertically and has two fillets on either side of the skeletal structure. Another type of fish is called a flat fish. Examples of those would be turbot, halibut, sole. They swim horizontally and typically are on the bottom of the ocean floors. As well, they contain 4 fillets. They have 2 large ones on the top side, and then on the white underbelly, they'll contain 2 more smaller fillets. Another type of fish you may be familiar with is called skate wing. Skate wing personally is one of my favorite fishes. It's mild, delicate. The flavor profile is very reminiscent of a scallop. Now that is not a flat fish, although it looks like it. It is actually in the ray family because just like stingrays, they do not contain bones. Their skeletal structure is actually all cartilage. So the great news is when you fillet it off of the skeletal body, there's no bones to pick with. Unfortunately, snapper will have pin bones, and they are pretty large and sometimes stubborn. But I'm going to show you how we'll take them out. So another fun fact about red snapper is it's caught in the Gulf of Mexico, and in the year 2011, the 5 Gulf states fished 3.2 million pounds of it in 1 year. Without further ado, let's jump right in and break these down. Well, let's begin with our tools that we will need. A nice cutting board, a good sharp boning knife. You will need a pair of fish tweezers for the pin bones. And I also like to have a small little dish of water on the side, as when I pull the bones, I can shake it off into the water and it helps clean it off faster than doing it with your hands. So, to begin, we would select fresh fish from your fishmonger. To identify fresh fish, 1, the eyes should be bright and bulging. Number 2, the gills should be nice colored, not looking dark and dead. The skin itself should be oily, and the scales should not be dry and flaking off. And naturally, the smell. To begin, we want to make certain that our fish is scaled. And to scale it, you either use a scaler and go against the grain of the scales, or you can use the back of your boning knife and just run it this way and go in the back. As you can see, they pop off. This is a very messy job, and I recommend doing it somewhere either outside or try to put plastic wrap or something to keep it from flying everywhere. So whether you're right-handed or left-handed doesn't really matter. You may position the fish a little different ways so it's more comfortable for you to use your knife. And what I like to do is begin behind a gill, making a cut from the spine, top of the fillet, down to the belly. I'll cut that one cut all the way through. Now you're going to hit to the bone and stop. You don't have to don't cut the fish all the way through. And then what I like to do is I'll take the tail and cut right there and just down again to the bone. Then take the blade of your knife, starting with the tip, running alongside the spine, and I gently peel back. So I run the knife this way. And then holding your knife flat and just follow the bone structure and then peel the fillet back. now that we have our fillets, we want to take our fingers and feel down the center of the fillets and feeling for the bones. And they typically start right at the beginning. I will then use my tweezers, pinch, gently pull it out, and then drop it into my little jar or little bowl of water. That helps remove it from this, and I can operate a little faster. Well, there you have breaking down a round fish. Keep in mind that all round fish are pretty much built the same, just a different size, maybe shape is a little bit different, but they all have the 2 fillets and the gills and the fins, and you're just gonna pretty much break them down the same way. There is a couple different ways, as I showed you there, where I cut from the gill out. Some it's better to come from the tail towards the head, and a lot of times it just has to do with what you're most comfortable with. Things like snapper, I like to work from the head to the tail, simply because after the gills and where the vitals are, there's like a little rib cage that curves over. And I could have just swiped all the way down the whole length of it and had that cage there, and then I have to cut it back from the fillet. What I did was I took a little more time taking the fillet all by itself off. Again, personal preference. The advantages of buying your whole fish is that it's a lot cheaper. These snapper were $7.99 a pound. If I would have got it already scaled, filleted, and deboned, we're probably talking an additional $6 per pound, $7 probably. So in a household like ours, where we eat a lot of seafood, it would really add up at the end of the year, the savings by buying the whole fish. And with anything, it just takes a little bit of practice and some patience with it. To store these, now whole fish I will store in with ice in a drip pan and then a hotel pan underneath of it. But when it comes to fillets, I never put ice directly on it. What I will do is I will take these into a 2-inch hotel pan, lay them flat, I will put some plastic wrap over it, and then I take frozen gel packs and lay it right on top of it. That way there's not direct ice onto the fish. And I also store it, as you can see here, flesh to flesh. Well, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you learned a little something on how to break down fish, and also learned a little bit about how to store it and how to select fresh fish. Choosing quality product is probably more important than preparing the meal the right way. Well, thank you again for joining us. Leave some comments, feedback below, subscribe, and see some new videos as they come up. Yo, Advayat.